Hello. Thanks for tuning in to learn about the Park County Housing Coalition's 2024 work plan. I'm Catherine Daly, the Park County Housing Coalition Program Manager, and I'll be covering three topics. First, I'm going to provide some background on the coalition. Then I'll touch on what's happening in Park County's housing market. And finally, I'll review this year's work plan, specifically focusing on the programs we have developed around our three priority tools from the Housing Action Plan, which are accessory dwelling units, employer-assisted housing partnerships, and zoning reform. So the Coalition is a program that's currently being incubated within the HRDC's Community Development Department and receives support from the Park County Community Foundation and a host of other wonderful community partners. Our mission is to increase opportunities for Park County residents to access housing where we can afford to live and thrive. I like to think about the Coalition's work in terms of two phases. Phase 1 was focused on research and planning and took place from roughly 2020 to mid-2023. 2020 was the year the Coalition was reconvened in response to broadening interest in addressing the community's housing challenges. In 2021, the Coalition completed the Park County Housing Needs Assessment, which, among other things, found that only 20% of households in Park County earned enough to afford a mortgage for a single-family home at median list price. The next year, they completed the Housing Action Plan, which recommends 12 tools and policies to address the housing needs identified in the prior year's assessment. This document was then adopted by local elected officials into the City of Livingston's and Park County's growth policies. Phase 2 is all about implementing the Housing Action Plan's 12 recommended tools and policies in ways that reflect community interest and capacity and leverage changes to policy and regulation at the national, state, and local levels. We're also trying to sustain and build collaborative partnerships around community housing. And in order to do all of that, last year, the community raised nearly all of the funds necessary for HRDC to hire a Park County resident to lead these efforts full-time for 3 years. And that person is me. We also convened a 9-person steering committee that has been very helpful in guiding work thus far. So what's going on in our housing market? Generally speaking, we're seeing a lack of mobility in which people are either locked out of housing in the community entirely or locked into homes that may not be meeting their needs. About 30% of Park County's households rent, 70% own, and we're seeing home prices that neither group can afford. The estimated median rent is $434 more per month than the maximum the median renting household could afford. Only approximately 8% of owner households and 4% of renter households in Park County could afford a home priced at or above the December 2023 median list price of $649,000. So, how is the Coalition going to address this? Well, our 2024 work plan prioritizes 3 of the 12 tools that can leverage national, state, and local law and policy changes. The implementation of these tools builds on recommendations made by the Coalition's 2022 subcommittees and ideas generated by participants during a conversation we hosted last November. I'll start with tool number 8 in the Housing Action Plan, which is accessory dwelling units, also known as ADUs. You might have also heard them referred to as casitas, alley houses, mother-in-law units, all names that reveal how this housing type has been used in our community for generations. Accessory dwelling units are smaller, independent living spaces that share a lot with a larger primary home. Their small size, ability to provide multi-generational housing, and the fact that they don't require an empty lot to build on mean that they can meet several of the community's housing challenges. For example, a full third of Park County's households are people living alone, and we currently lack homes that are appropriately sized for them. There are about 2 single-person households for every studio and 1-bedroom home in the county currently. Another challenge that ADUs could help address is that nearly a quarter of our population is age 65 and older and might be stuck in homes that are too large, require too much maintenance, or don't have needed accessibility features. Last but not least, land is expensive, and ADUs sidestep the need for land acquisition. For these reasons, the Coalition's 2022 Workforce Housing Subcommittee recommended facilitating the creation of ADUs. Their endorsement, combined with the state's new law that removes regulatory barriers to ADU construction, and the Federal Housing Administration's new ADU lending policy, signals that the time is right to pilot some ADU programs. Ours this year has two parts. The first is a course on ADU financing in mid-April, focused on continuing education for lenders, realtors, builders, and others in the real estate realm. This will be open to the public too, so if this piques your interest and you want to join us, you're absolutely welcome. The second component is a multi-session workshop this fall for homeowners wishing to build an ADU that will provide opportunities for community members to age in place or afford to continue living and working in Park County. Tool number 2 in the Housing Action Plan is employer-assisted housing partnerships. This year, we are launching a pilot program to support employers who want to understand and implement demand and/or supply-side strategies to help their current employees access and remain in healthy housing in our community, while also improving recruitment and retention rates. We would like to provide support to employers in Park County's 5 economic sectors that represent about 70% of Park County's jobs. These sectors are professional and business services, education, healthcare, and social assistance, construction, leisure and hospitality, and retail trade. On average, people working in these sectors fall into 3 annual earning groups. We hope to provide technical support to employers in these sectors to see which solutions will best meet their employees' needs. This support will be tailored to the resources and strengths of each employer and the needs of their employees. So it might look like assistance in clarifying what those needs are, providing information on rental or down payment assistance, or considering pathways to the development of housing on property the employer owns. One goal is to identify solutions that could be extended to workers across these 5 sectors, thereby having a greater community impact. Right now, we need employers in these sectors to step forward and make a commitment to contributing to the community's housing solutions. Alternatively, employees working in these sectors, nominate your employers. We want to hear from you. Tool 9 in the Housing Action Plan is zoning reform. And this year, the Coalition will be participating in the City of Livingston's planned zoning regulation update, which is slated to begin in June. I hope to see many of you at those meetings. Our goal is to ensure that changes to regulation are clear, complementary, and allow for more abundant housing at the sizes and prices our community members need and can afford. So if you want to get involved, you have a couple of options. One is to join the Coalition and subscribe to our email list on our website. You can also reach out to me directly at the email on the screen if you want to participate in our pilot ADU program, either as a Park County homeowner who wants to build or a community member who wants to share what they know about ADU financing, design, permitting, construction, and property management. And this includes Park County homeowners who have built ADUs on their property. We want to hear about your experiences. You can also reach out if your workplace is in one of our 5 target sectors and you want to nominate them to receive technical support as part of our Employer-Assisted Housing Partnership Program. That's all for today, but before we sign off, I'd like to thank our generous supporters, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, the City of Livingston, the Southwest Montana Flood Relief Fund, Montana State University Extension Park County, some wonderful generous community members, the Candida Fund, and Glassy Baby Foundation. Until next time.